Today's clip is from a coaching call early last year. It's actually the first session with the student, and we talk about how to use discomfort to trigger growth. Here's the clip.
One rule I use for myself is if I'm feeling comfortable, I'm not growing. And I try and find something to push myself, because you're familiar with kind of the magic of compound interest, of how it lets a very small thing over a period of time become a very large thing. Growth is the same way, because as you start to see a lot of growth and as you start to continue to invest in yourself, what you can achieve becomes greater and greater over time, right? So rather than trying to take it easy, or not take it easy, but rather than just not pushing yourself as hard for the first few weeks and then getting to that last week and trying to push yourself beyond that, try and keep yourself in a state of permanent discomfort, because that will indicate that there is growth constantly happening. And what you will start to find is that the discomfort is going to start to go down over time, and you're going to have to keep reminding yourself to keep raising that level, right? It's the equivalent of, if you want to run a marathon, should you train for half an hour before the marathon and then run the marathon, or should you periodically for the months leading up to the marathon try and run longer and longer and longer, right? And every day you go for a run, it's okay, you're out of wind, you're going to push yourself a little bit more, right? It's the coasting, because you're not used to keeping yourself in that permanent discomfort. Once you get above what you want to achieve, you feel the need to just allow the inertia to keep you going. And generally what happens is the inertia starts to accelerate you down, but still, because you're over, you're over what you were doing, by the time you cross that threshold, you are now moving faster coming down than you did going up, right? So as a result, that inertia results in it being harder to get motivated, being harder to go. So the goal isn't to have those days. If you have a day where it's amazingly great, chances are the following day isn't going to be as good. And the reason is just contrast. Your brain is going to adjust to make that the normal, right? So your neurotransmitters, your physiology is going to adapt. That's why there's a study that's been done, and they found that quantifiably, based on the amount of neurotransmitters and the way people felt and everything like that, someone who survives a car accident feels the same level of happiness that someone who just won the lottery. The difference is that a day later, the person who survived the car accident still feels that happiness, but the person that's won the lottery has gone back to how they were, because the upswing is so much higher, right? They come shooting past that normal state that they're down here, and before they notice that they're on a downward trajectory, they pass where they were, and they're accelerating so much faster in a downward trajectory than they were coming up. So exactly. Or you notice you're now past that threshold, and you take time, you drive, right?
Yeah.
So kind of the faster you drive, the more distance you have to keep. It's that same thing. Like you need time to react, where you're doing 100 miles per hour. The 0.3 second reaction time is, I don't know, 30 to 50 feet. Whereas if you're driving 30 miles per hour, the 0.3 reaction time is now 1 to 3 feet, right? So it's that same principle, is making sure that you're consistently keeping yourself just a little bit above discomfort, so that you feel that there's growth. And to be clear about this, it's positive discomfort. It's not like, if your back is hurting, don't just go, oh, my back will get stronger, right? Like it's finding the right things. Exactly. Yeah. And the reason why we cover this kind of in our first session is compounding. This is the most important. If you want one secret, everyone's always looking for secrets, and then when they get the secret, they don't actually use the secret, they just start looking for another secret. The one secret, like if someone said you can only give one tip to someone to make them successful, mindset. That's it. Mindset. If you can overcome that mindset problem, nothing is going to get in your way, because anytime something does, you are going to convince yourself it's not an obstacle, and then you are going to find a reason why it's not an obstacle, right? Using kind of a present example right now with what happened with COVID and everything being locked down and everything like that, right? If you look at it using reality, that most people like to look at it from, it's a disaster, it's horrible, businesses are closing, the economy is not performing well, everything's in shambles. But if you actually look at it for what it is, it has created a tsunami of opportunity. And that opportunity is as a result of taking businesses that operated the way they used to and making them digital, right? So you can see, depending on your mindset, if your mindset is abundance and opportunity, then you're going to see that bottom part. If your mindset is scarcity and fear, you're going to see that top part, right?
I hope you found that clip useful. Let me know in the comments, What do you do to make sure you're continually growing? Have you heard of the concept of using discomfort to trigger growth before? Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for new videos, which I release every Wednesday. If you're a freelancer or first-time business owner and you're struggling to get customers predictably, in the description below, you'll find a link for a complimentary one-on-one strategy session with me.